Hi, I'm Kayla, the BookTube Turtle, and today I'm going to be talking about why I decided to self-publish. So if you don't know, I recently self-published my first novel, Beyond the Gates. Pretty excited about it. If you want to know more about it, you can check out my announcement video and my Q&A video, which I will put in the cards. So yeah, multiple people have asked me why I chose to self-publish, and so I thought I would talk a little bit about that today and about how I came to that decision. So first, it's important to note that I have always been interested in self-publishing, which I think did have an effect on me deciding to go ahead and do this. Yeah, I've always been interested in self-publishing, especially with working with self-published indie authors for the past like 4 years or something, through like beta reading, editing, the little shout out videos that I do on my channel. So I've had a lot of experience with authors who have self-published, and it's always been something that's been really interesting to me and that I've been drawn to. However, this time last year, I was in the mindset that I was going to at least try traditional publishing so that I could have that experience, and then decide if I wanted to like switch to self-publishing or continue with traditional or do a mix. That was what I had in mind a year ago. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the experience that I had with traditional publishing. I didn't get very far because we'll talk about it. So like I said, it was a year ago. It was around like December 2019. I decided to start querying literary agents, and that's basically, you know, like writing a letter to agents pitching your novel, basically. And you also usually include like a sample. It could be anywhere from like 1 chapter to like 3 chapters, or sometimes they go by page counts where it's like send 25 pages. But yeah, you usually send a sample. And then, so yeah, I did that with a few that I found, and I either got no's or did not hear back at all, like, which is fine and normal. If you are going like a traditional route, you're probably going to get tons of rejections before someone says yes, and like I knew and understood that going in, so like being told no was just, it was just like whatever to me, because that's just how it is. But because it was around Christmas time and the holidays and just all of that, most agencies were closed for submissions, and they weren't taking anyone new. And most of them also did not say when they would open up again. So I was only able to send out like a small little handful, because of that. And then, I don't know, it just kind of fizzled out. I didn't check back in to see if like other places had opened up or anything, you know, given that 2020 hit and the world exploded, but it's fine. So then in June 2020, a few months ago, I was reading through my novel, and because I was wanting to start drafting book 2, and I was reading through it and I was just like, this is pretty good. Like I don't think I could possibly do more to it to get it better, like on my own. Like I think it's ready. Which, like, I mean, obviously I was at that point when I started like querying, or I wouldn't have been reaching out to literary agents, but I just hadn't had much contact with the book in several months because of everything just being a mess, and I was not in a good place. I was just going through some stuff, and yeah. So anyway, I was reading through the book and I was just like, you know, it's ready, so I'm just gonna try to do it myself. And that's what I did. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about like traditional versus self-publishing. I have done a lot of research over the years about the difference and, you know, like weighing one versus the other, because I've always known that I did want to publish my stuff one day. So I have done a lot of research. So first, with traditional publishing, like I said, you have to go through a querying process. You also have to go through a submission process. This basically means that it takes forever for your book to actually get published. If it is your first, if you are a debut author. I am coming at this from like, this is your first book that you're getting published kind of thing. Obviously, if you've written several books that have, and you're already like established with an agent and a publishing company, it's much different. So yeah, it can take months to get a literary agent. Most of them even say when you apply to them, like, you will hear probably within 3 to 6 months. Like, that's a long time for waiting around. And you also usually, you usually send out like hundreds of these letters because you are going to get hundreds of rejections. And then once you land an agent, you know, you go through things with them to like finish getting your book ready on their end, and then you go on submission. This is when the agent sends pitches of your novel to actual publishing companies. This also can take several months. And then once a publishing company takes on your novel, you then have to go through more waiting for the book to be like completely finalized and actually like available for purchase. So the whole process could take like 2 years. And it often does take a very long time from when you decide you are ready to publish to when the book is actually available for people to buy. You have to do your own marketing with traditional publishing and self-publishing. I think a lot of people think that with traditional publishing, the company does most of the work outside of writing like the actual book, but that's not the case. Obviously, they do some like marketing and advertising and whatnot, but most of it is still going to fall on you and is up to you. Another thing with traditional is that you give up control, which I'm sure is nice for some people. It is not for me. But yeah, so like there's multiple people working on the publishing of your book, and like you will be able to have a say and some input in some things, but like other things you might not, and you just kind of have to go with it. So yeah, it's just something to keep in mind. And the last traditional publishing point that I have is that you will likely make less money, which sounds incorrect. But like I've done the math. So because there are so many people involved, you get a much lower cut of the profits because there's a bunch of other people also getting cuts of the profit. And unless you like make it big right off the bat, it could be months or even longer before you even see another paycheck after the advance that you get. Because I'm pretty sure you don't get paid again until you make enough sales to pay back that advance. And for debut authors, I have researched this. The advance is usually like 10 to 15,000, which seems like a lot. But if that's all you get for months to a year or longer, like that's not likely enough to live off of. Okay, so now let's talk about self-publishing. So, time-wise, your book can be available within a few weeks to a few months, rather than years. Like I said, I officially decided to self-publish back in June, and my novel came out in October. And in that time, I worked on editing, the cover design, formatting, and all of that. And while I was doing that, I was also marketing and advertising and like building up hype for the release. So for self-publishing, it's like you're actively working towards your goal instead of having these large periods of time where you're just sitting around and waiting to find out about things. With self-publishing, you have all of the control. So you can decide what the final content of the book is. You can decide what you're gonna do with it. And like what I mean by that is like with traditional publishing, it can lead to changing story content, having to change the title, ending up with a cover that you're not happy with, and so on. But for self-publishing, it's all your decision. Like if an editor suggests changing something but you don't agree with it, don't change it. Yeah, with self-publishing, you get the final say. And you also get to keep a larger percent of the profit. So because you like pay, your editors, you pay your cover designer, your formatter, whoever you are bringing in to work on the book, you typically pay them up front. Like it's a separate transaction, because a lot of times if you're self-publishing, it's going to be freelance and not part of a large company like a publishing company. So like the only fee that you're really paying is for the distributor. So in my case, I sell through Amazon through Kindle Direct Publishing, and for ebooks I get to keep 70% of the profit, and for paperbacks I get to keep 60%. Yeah, Amazon like gets their cut because they are allowing me to have my book on their website and sending it to people, whatever. Compared to traditional publishing, which is usually around like 5 to 10%. So that it's a large difference. So how did I, specifically me, choose to self-publish? Obviously for me, self-publishing outweighed traditional publishing because here we are. I like feeling in control of my life and my writing, and that was one of the big things that really drew me to self-publishing, because I got to be the one to make everything happen. And if there was something that I didn't like, I could do something different. I didn't have to, follow any like guidelines or anything like that like a traditional publishing company might have set. I'm also a business marketing major. I'm in my senior year. I have learned a lot. I understand how marketing works, as well as like other aspects of business like finance and management and research and so on. So I felt comfortable enough to handle it on my own. I also already had a solid enough following through like YouTube and like other book related media like Bookstagram and Twitter and stuff. So I felt like this, like what I have is better than nothing, and I can use that to get the word out. Also, I love to write. Writing is my passion. I have been writing stories literally since I was like 6 years old, and I never want writing to feel like a job. And I also, because I was thinking about it and I was just like, why do I want to publish? And I really thought about it, and I was like, well, I'm not publishing because I want to, make millions of dollars and become super famous. Like, well, I mean, honestly, I'd prefer to not be famous because I have way too much social anxiety for that. That's besides the point. What I'm saying is, that's not why I write. That's not why I want to publish. Like, do I want to make money? Like, of course, obviously. Like, I've put 4.5 years of my life into this novel. I want it, yes, I want it to sell and do good. And like, do I want people to like know about it and read it and enjoy it? Yes. But I can accomplish those things without traditional publishing. Yeah, I mean, 'cause I write because I love it, and I have these stories and worlds and characters that I just need to get out of me and that I want to share with other people. So for me, self-publishing was the way that I could get my books out into the world to share with others, but that I could still do it on my own terms, within my control. And so far, I'd say it's going pretty well. So yeah, that was a little bit about how and why I came to the decision to self-publish. If you have any questions about publishing in general or about my experience, feel free to leave me a comment below, or you can message me on social media. All of my links are in the description. I will also be making more publishing videos in the future, so stay tuned for those. And finally, again, my novel Beyond the Gates is available in ebook and paperback on Amazon. The link is in the description below. So check it out if you are interested, and let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.